Welcome back to Blast Guys Reviews. In this review, we're going to be taking a look at Valaverse Action Force Sergeant Slaughter 112 scale action figure. So this is our very first Action Force figure review here on Blast Guys Reviews. And we're going to make this a heavy review. We're going to talk about the figure, the packaging. We're going to talk about Sergeant Slaughter himself and much, much more. And so we're going to do a very honest, straight up, if you like it or not, honest review. That's what we do here. We don't lie for some company. We ain't paid by Valaverse. We ain't paid by Hasbro. We're here to do real, hardcore, straight up reviews. So a little bit about the Sarge. He was born August 27th, 1948. As of this video, he is now 73 years old. His height about 6'6", he weighs about 305 pounds. He retired in 2014 from pro wrestling. Sergeant Slaughter's real name is Robert Rudolph Remus. The gimmick Sergeant Slaughter is that of a former U.S. Marine who fought in the Vietnam War. Many people do ask if Sergeant Slaughter himself ever served in the military. The answer is no. This has caused controversy because at times Sergeant Slaughter has talked about military service while seeming to speaking as himself and not as a character. And I guess you could basically call that stolen valor. I remember the first time I seen Sergeant Slaughter coming down on that Triple T and crushing 100 bats as a kid. And then also in the G.I. Joe movie when he come down there in that battle with his renegades and he got in that battle. He's always been a very hefty presence in the G.I. Joe cartoon. So that's why I try to remember him as. I really wasn't a big fan of Sergeant Slaughter as a wrestler, and I'm about to tell you why. The year was 1991. The United States was fully immersed in the Gulf War, and the WWE decided to capitalize on it by making an American hero, Sergeant Slaughter, turn heel and become an Iraqi sympathizer. Now you would think Sergeant Slaughter here would have had some objections to that because, I mean, he has, he made his life as Sergeant Slaughter an American hero in G.I. Joe, all through wrestling and all through other promotions that he's ever shown up as Sergeant Slaughter. But in order to do this, Sergeant Slaughter had to make several anti-American remarks and wear an Iraqi soldier outfit. So for me, I try not to think about his wrestling career because that is actually kind of frown upon that kind of activity. I don't care if he's trying to make money and Vince McMahon's making money, but as a wrestler, I don't like him. Hopefully, I don't know him as a person. Hopefully, he doesn't believe in what he did in wrestling. And I try to just remember him as a G.I. Joe. But I just think that that's a stain on his reputation, in my opinion, especially as a fan. I pretty much just put my thoughts on the G.I. Joe cartoon and not him as a person or his wrestling career. So with that being said, that's my personal thoughts. It's all fact. It's nothing to get upset about. That's the truth. And that's how I feel. And some people forget about some of that stuff. And as we pride ourselves in our soldiers here in the United States, and I don't know, just something about that whole storyline irritated me. With that being said, let's take a look at the Action Force Sergeant Slaughter. Here is the packaging. You can see the window box, Action Force at the bottom, Sergeant Slaughter at the bottom, Valaverse on the bottom right of the video. These are recommended for ages 14 and up. And you can see like there's some kind of little piece of plastic across the figure. It's kind of hazy because they're trying to protect the paint, which I think is admirable. Top of the box, Valaverse Action Force, warning, choking hazard, small ports from the age of 3. Bottom of the box, Action Force, all kind of company information there, UPC, which don't matter to anything because you can't buy these in stores. These are only online through retailers and Valaverse.com. Side of the box, we have Sergeant Slaughter 02-06, and we have the Valaverse, I guess that's their logo. Black and white picture of the Sarge. Just on this side, the Action Force logo and the Action Force name. Top of the card, we have the cross-sell with the other figures. We have a QR code there. We do have a file code, which is fantastic, which I'll bring that forward here so you guys can pause and read that. That's a lot of literature there for me to go through in this video. We got a lot to get to. I also want to mention, too, if you guys noticed that Action Points logo there. I'm sorry, Action Points, yeah, logo, I guess. There's a little cutout piece. If you remember 5 Points from G.I. Joe, these figures are often compared to G.I. Joe. There's always been some kind of controversy with somebody, you know, G.I. Joe fans versus Valaverse fans. These are both good and bad on both sides. Just buy what you like. These are pretty good looking figures, and we're going to find out how good they really are right here, right now. But one thing I'm bringing up about the Action Points was that Bobby Valla did say something about he was going to do something with those in the future. So keep those. I'm not sure if you guys are wanting to keep your boxes. That's going to be a hard thing because you need to cut those points out of your box. Your box is ruined. You might as well just cut this file card out and cut your points out and chuck the box. As for the box itself, they're not very good boxes. They're thin cardstock. They're not on the level of the G.I. Joe classified packaging. They're very thin paper, almost like, you know, your Warhammer figures from Toy Toy. They're very thin cardboard to save, I guess. It's not a bad thing if you're, I guess, if you're trying to save the environment, or if you do want an awesome packaging. It's a hit and miss on either side. So let's bring out this file card here, and you gotta hold it. And I want to hold this for a few seconds. You guys can pause and read that if you can. Alright, with that being said, let's go ahead and get the Sarge outside the packaging. Now, like I said, this is very thin cardboard, and there's proof. I'm not bashing it, it's just right there, and being an honest opinion. So there's a Sarge in a clamshell, and then behind him you have a baggie of 2 more accessories, which we'll be taking a look at here shortly. Okay, so let's see how this works. Cover comes off. Okay, then we have that film that goes over the top, like so. So if you want to put your figure back in a box, just roll it over to the side and take out what you can. Okay, here's Sergeant Slaughter outside the packaging. I must say, for weight, he feels nice and heavy for a 6-inch figure, 1/12 scale. Very nice. Overall details, my first impressions, he looks really good. Especially the face. We'll take a look at that head sculpt because I think they nailed it with that distinct chin of Sergeant Slaughter. Well, 2 things that I picked out just by looking at them that kind of wasn't liking was these 2 pieces here on his shoulders, the skin flaps. Just really unnatural looking. I don't know what's going on there. This right here. I guess if you had a vest character, it wouldn't matter for the sculpt, but when you have a t-shirt or tank top type of character, it kind of is unsightly. Doesn't make it very realistic. And the other thing I noticed was this gap each here in his arm. I know we need a deep cut to get that heavy bend that we all want for poses and articulation, but it's kind of just, it's a lot, like half of his arm is missing. It's just, it really stands out to me, at least in my opinion. But that's just me. The aesthetic might not bother you, but that's 2 things that caught my eye. I think it's really cool about my figure and the way the light is right now. It kind of like his hat is kind of hot in his eyes, giving that mysterious kind of look. So if we want to take off that hat, we'll take a look at it. Here we have the hat. This is a harder plastic. So the harder the plastic, more prone off for breakage. So this, I mean, again, it's a hit and miss. If you do a rubbery hat, then it's just, you know, you have your cons with that, and then you have your cons with the hard hat. One thing I noticed about the hat, it looks like it fits either way. There's no way to tell which way is the front or the back. But for some reason, like, it doesn't fit this way very well. But if I turn my hat around, it's like, it's perfect. For some reason my hand's sticking to it, but it's very, very nice. It was even that way in my package, so it's very good. to push that down a little bit. There we go. And then it stays on very nicely that way. But it does have a better, so try both ways if you're trying to put your sergeant's hats on, if you can't get it. Now let's take a look at that head sculpt. You can see from the side, they really nailed that chin look. He's definitely a bald character. See if we can take a look at those eyes. It's really hard to get a close up with those eyes, but they are painted. I got the light right on it. It doesn't seem coming through on the camera. Hopefully in the end result it comes through, but the way his eyes are set back in his head a good bit actually causes a shadow over his eyes. But that's, you know, that's okay. It's not like it's not a big deal. You can notice that. Then we have his mustache there. It's like a brown mustache. So he has his utility vest here. Got some pouches on it. He has his blank tank top on. For me, I bought this initially before Hasbro announced their version of Sergeant Slaughter, so I could have at least a Sergeant Slaughter for my G.I. Joes. And because there's always an issue with the copyrights with WWE versus Hasbro's ability to make Sergeant Slaughter figures. So now that we have a upcoming G.I. Joe classified Sergeant Slaughter, I'm still keeping this because I do like this gives me a really nice military modern version of Sergeant Slaughter. So here's his vest. It's really good. I'm not going to take off the vest because it's already on, and it's a pain to get these things on and off. So you can see the blank tank top quite nicely. There is some nice like surfaces there. You can see that ridged. Actually, you can feel that with your hand. That's very nice. We have a big pouch, 2 pouches on the side, smaller with little black tabs. Looks pretty good. For his arms, he has these green bracelets, or that might be a watch that's inside. There's a little black piece there. He has like an autograph pants. Looks fantastic. Here we have 2 thigh pads. Now I must say this is one of the things that I really like. We're going to talk about this thigh pad a little more. But I like how this is designed, and we'll talk more. Like I said, we'll talk more. But we have the more drive with the black here, and that's an open case for his pistol. On this side, he has like a little pack on this other thigh pad with the different shade of green in the bice straps. So if we come down here, the boots look cool. Don't get me wrong, I like them, and I have no problem with them. But they kind of remind me of a wrestling boots versus a military style boots. I mean, if that was a military style boot, was this back in like World War II or something, it kind of looks like that, but not a modern version of a military boot. But it doesn't look too bad, and it's okay. I can deal with it. It doesn't bother me that much, but just wanted to point it out in my opinion. Now for articulation, let's take a look at it. Now, they are stiff. You're going to have to heat these up. So anybody that's telling you that wave 2 is you don't have to heat it, it's not true. I have right here in front of you, I can barely move the joints, so I need to pause this video and go heat up the joints. Okay, it's been about a half an hour since I went and heated this up. Yeah, it took me about a half hour to get all the joints in nice working condition. So we'll start with the head. It is on a ball joint. You can look up. We'll leave his hat off just for now so we can see the articulation. The hat's not going to affect anything. You can look down. Obviously we have those side to side. And then you got 360 rotation. Now for these shoulders, they are butterfly joints. You can see in here. So these guys will rock back and forth like so. Okay, and that's on both sides, so his arms do come up about that much. I actually expected more, but that's actually, I can't get it to go any further without concern about getting any kind of breakage. We have 360 rotation at the bicep right here. We have a fantastic double jointed elbow. One thing I'm noticing as the joints cool, they're going back to original stiffness. So that if that's something for you to keep remind yourself, if you heat them up and you get them in working order, and then you go back later. I double check it before you go getting too crazy with manipulating the joints. So that's about a little over 90 degrees. So the forearm here hits the bicep. Now notice one thing about this also. He has 360 rotation at the wrist. You can see now I can barely turn that because it's cold. Be very careful. So you have this down and up like this, and that's on both hands. See, I think what he should have done is this hand should have been stayed the same, and then this one we need the in and out, because everybody's loving those cupping hands. If we had that in and out, it'd give you better range of motion there. He does some chest articulation here. So we have this side, ab crunch, back, forth. Of course, it's hindered a little bit because of this harness here. I want to say there's a 360 rotation at the waist, right there. I don't like how that feels, so I'm not going to do it. So it looks like that might be a ball peg thing we pull apart for your customized troopers that they have available. So for the crotch area, he got a fantastic range of motion. And I wanted to bring something up here. Check out the design for the leg joints. You see, it calls the T-crotch piece, but it looks like there's actually two pieces in there. So we have more movable parts than we normally would have. Instead of having that T-crotch that goes up to the waist, and then it comes down as a T. So you snap on the torso on top, and then leg on the bottom, and that would give you pretty much the same result. But this is it looks like two pieces. It's like you have this leg that goes up and over top to the middle, and then you have this comes from this leg and it goes under the bottom. So all I know from engineering is that more moving parts, more breakage, more problems you gotta have. Potential for breakage at least. Now sitting, fantastic. That's what you want on all your figures. I don't care if it's G.I. Joe, Marvel Legends, or Valaverse. This is a perfect example for sitting. That should be your standard. Now, I did notice a little bit of a gappage here. I can see the joint. I don't know why. I can't push that in any further. Maybe it's just offsetted. We'll take a look at that later on my own time. We have thigh rotation right here. Cut there. Very nice. See how these joints are. Okay, I got double jointed knees. It's stiff already from out there heating for half an hour. And that's how those joints look. Like I said, I'm doing a very heavy review for these. Our very first Valaverse figures. I do think these are fantastic looking figures. For the feet, do pivot down, little up. Oh, we have a boot cut also. That's raw hidden, that boot cut right there. And that's also a 360 rotation. You're not going to get the 360 on these guys, so you have no side to side either. So you can't get that, or maybe you can. No, because you have the way that's made. It's just a single joint there. There's no rocker or anything, so it's up and down only on the feet, and you need to utilize the thigh rotation to, get your toes pointed in the direction you want it in. It seemed to be a very well balanced figure. It's not too bad. So I'll get him cleaned up here, and then we'll take a look at him as a 360. Have all his features, all his paint aesthetics, his sculpting. A little more paint. I know this is kind of you want to stay green, but a little bit of paint, kind of like how they did here on the belt. Let me little black connectors painted. It'll be nice, but it's not a big deal, because you want predominantly you want the olive drab, because you want that military look. So we have a yellowish belt there. If we talked about that or not. You can see the pocket sculpt on his pants. You see the material creases. Looks good. Very nice. Overall, so far, I think he looks very nice. It's going to be a nice figure to have in my collection. So in our little baggie, we have an alternative vest, which I just don't see this working for the Sarge. This is very stiff. You're going to have to do some pretty heavy heating. I'm not going to put this on because I don't want this on my figure at all. I don't know what I'm ever going to do with it, but to put this on, you're going to have to heat this. This is very hard. You need to pull the arms back like this. Fold in the elbows. That's the best way to do that and soften this up. You're going to put a lot of stress on those joints. So try to bend the elbows in and have your vest as soft as you possibly can to prevent any breakage in your joints. The backpack, pretty nice looking. No paint. It's just a generic backpack. And it doesn't show you anywhere, but happy coincidence me finding this. You can fill this up with gear that fits in there, and it's got a good hold. Now, one thing about these backpacks I've noticed issues with is they sit at an angle. These pouches they have on the back, the radios, the gun belts, they cause that unrealistic arch in your backpack. I think you need to be careful in future sculpts with this. Either modify this where this would actually sit a little lower like this to get that more flush. But this is like for almost all ways 1 and 2 you have this issue with something, you know, blocking the backpack. I mean, there's nothing wrong with the backpack. It's just, it stays. It got a long peg on it. It's not an issue. And it stays in there. But this is kind of not up to the quality it should be. They come with these stands, and I think this is probably the best looking one. It's like a chromish color, but then it has this diamond plated on it. I would love to have a bunch of these stands, even for my Joes. I think they fit. I heard rumors about that. I don't have a classified figure here, but I heard that they fit in here. And just getting this would be amazing. So that's pretty nice. Alright, it comes with this alternate marine cover. It's kind of like a tannish color. It's not olive drab. So you have the alternative of putting the hat on versus his drill instructor hat. So it's a pretty nice marine cover. Don't like it myself, the look of the figure. Nothing wrong with the part or the hat or the marine cover. I just, it's not the Sarge, and I'm not interested for my own collection. Now, I kind of got lucky for his glasses. We have this copper to black lenses. Because of the packaging, because of the plastic, my glasses stayed very nice, form-fitting. I'm afraid to say what Hasbro's Sergeant Slaughter's are going to look like with them getting rid of all the plastic. It's just going to be smashed in a bag. You can see how well those just pretty much go on the figure where they need to be. And I just knocked it off because I was trying to prove a point. But he sits nicely on his face. And then if you get that on, you kind of, oops. It's hard to do it to the camera actually. But mine fit very nice. And then if you can get his glasses on like so, and you find his hat, the drill instructor hat, and you can get those to fit very nice under the hat. Okay, I can't do it to the camera. Give me 1 second. Okay, there you go. So the hat kind of holds him in place if you get him just behind his ears. And you can see they don't fall off. So that's pretty cool. It takes a little bit to get to find the little piece to it, but it's perfect fit. They do fall off. There's nothing's guaranteed. There's nothing to hold on besides this friction. So, but at least that's pretty cool. So yeah, let's take a look at his pistol. He has a nice revolver here. Gunmetal, black handle. It's very, very cool. Now, one thing I like about this holster we talked about earlier is this open case. A lot of the closed case pistol holsters have issues because of the revolver, the chamber here part. Because the way this is made, you basically just push the front down into the plastic and then you push back. And you can see that the revolver part that gives you a hard time, there's plenty of room for that, so that looks really nice. Like that. Okay, here he is holding it. I'm just going to use the hands that was currently on the figure. He comes with 7 or so hands, so you can find the proper hand that fits him best. can see the barrel is drilled for blast effects that you can get from Valaverse also. Next up is this amazing grenade launcher. This is beautiful. Black and silver. Can't beat that. And even the chamber here rotates. That's very nice. Nothing's removable. We have the port for blast effects. Beautiful stock. I love the sculpt. It looks fantastic. Scope. Front grip here on the back. Very nice. I love the color of this. This is perfect. We have the rail system here. Obviously, if you don't have anything to put on it, but it gives you the appearance that you can. And here he is holding it again. That looks pretty good without even changing out his hands. Very nice. You can get it two-handed wheeled. Again, you have to check out the different hands, but give you an idea as a review just what that looks like. Alright, to my surprise, here is that cupping hand that is very well welcomed throughout the action figure collector community, and he actually did what I thought he missed out on, so that's great. You have that in and out now on this hand to cup that gun. In this case, for Sword & Sword, he doesn't really have anything to cup, so it's up to your preference, I guess. There's another gripping hand. The punching hand, fully closed. Go one-on-one with the bats. Here's the other fisted hand. Another gripping hand. Then we have a pointed finger hand. Pretty cool. Giving directions or grilling somebody. And then another cupping hand. So it's a total of 7 extra hands, not counting the 2 that's currently on the figure. So a total of 9 hands. So for the stand, he fits really nice, perfect tolerance, goes on with any effort. The figures themselves, without a backpack, they do not necessarily need the stand, unless you have one of those floors that vibrate when you walk. They have a nice balance to the figure, but the backpacks will make them back heavy. So the price for these bad boys are $31.99 from Valaverse.com and maybe Big Bad Toy Store, but I'm not sure anywhere else. But of course you can pay more on eBay from scalpers. Cons, not many. The skin flaps on the shoulders, and there's little unsightliness in the elbows, but other than that, I ain't getting any other complaints besides you got to heat your joints up. I don't care what anybody says. I'm betting you wave 3 you have to heat those joints too. That is something that's now going to be a part of collecting. Plenty of plenty of pros. These things are beautiful. It's a nice figure, beautiful articulation, beautiful sculpt. They nailed the look of Sergeant Slaughter, and a nice modern version outside his G.I. Joe appearance. Highly recommend this figure. Pick him up. I'm not a big fan of the first version. It's just a little too much for Sergeant Slaughter. Did like the knife he came with, but in my opinion, this is the better version. But again, that's for me. So I'll have this figure, and I will be picking up the Hasbro G.I. Joe version of Sergeant Slaughter because it looks amazing. We'll do a comparison of him and the G.I. Joe from Hasbro version when we get it. But other than that, it looks very good. So this has been a real review. There ain't no favoritism to G.I. Joe or Valaverse. It is what it is. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Hope you guys enjoyed the honesty. You can take it to the bank. Everything I said to you is true. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. I really appreciate that. And hit that thumbs up for me. Any comments down below. Any questions, please like and share the video. And we will see you in our next review.